All right. First and foremost, I want to say, call Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai. What I just said is all praises to the Father in the name of the Son. I also want to say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai Barakatah, meaning the Most High in Christ bless. We're going to get right into it. So this what I promised I was going to do and doing Torah series on Fridays, man. Had a half a day at work, so we're getting right to the word right after it, right? So this is Exodus 37 and 1. Right, it says, and Bezalel made an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half was the length of it, right, and the cubit and a half was the breadth of it. I think I already read this, but it's fine. It's only 4 chapters. It says, and he overlaid it with pure gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about, and he cast it 4 rings of gold and set by 4 corners of it. Salakia, let me just make sure, because I was already gonna go and look at what I did in this. So let's see where I left off of there. Yeah, it was a 36 chapter, so I didn't go into here. So verse 4, it says, and he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold, and he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half was the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, being out of one piece made he them. And on the 2 ends of the mercy seat, 1 cherubim on the one side, on this side, Salakia, and another cherub, Salakia, on the other side, on the other end of that side. Out of the mercy seat made he cherubims on the 2 ends. Let me get this right. It's all over. I ain't even realized it really wasn't even on me. It's all over here and everything. So let's get this right. Alright, I know the mic is pretty close to my face, but that don't matter, right? Verse 8, it says, on a cherub on the end of this, on this side, and another cherub on the other end on that side. Out of the mercy seat made he the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And continuing, it says, and the cherubims spread out their wings on high and covered their wings over the mercy seat with their faces one to another. Even the mercy seat were the faces of the cherubims. This is talking about the ark. We want to get a cartoon version of it, because this is going to be their version of it, not typically how the Bible explains it. This may be more like it, but a drawing would be more sufficient than what they trying to emulate, because they often mess up, man. They don't know how to follow instructions. But this is what the Ark of the Covenant was, man. And we see in that this is what's being made here, in this chapter here. And he made the table of shittim wood. The 2 cubits was the length thereof, and the cubit of the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half was the height thereof. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and made thereunto a crown of gold round about it, and also also he made thereunto a border of handbreadth round about, and made a crown of gold for the border thereof round about. And he cast it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings upon the 4 corners that were in the 4 feet thereof, right, against the border where the rings, the places where the staves to bear the table. And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold to bear the table. And he made the vessels which were upon the table, his dishes and his spoons and his bowls and his covers, to cover withal of pure gold. I do feel like I did read this already, but it is rather here nor there. We're just going to get in the video to continue on. We did go into this already, though, in previous chapter of Exodus. So if I'm not mistaken, this might maybe around like the 20s or something. But yeah, we just going to continue to keep on going into it, right? It says, in 6 branches going out of the sides thereof, 3 branches of the candlesticks out of the side thereof, and 3 branches of the candlesticks out of the other side thereof. Just talking about the menorah. If you go into candlestick, the word for candlestick here, if I'm not mistaken, is menorah, right? So manawara. So menorah, right? That's what we see, menorah or manara, right? I have a menorah somewhere. Actually, quite frankly, I haven't seen my menorah in a while. Oh, it's on my dresser. Actually, let me grab it. Now, the etchings we see in the menorah, this is human practice. This ain't what the menorah will call for, but typically, this is what the menorah gonna look like, right? You got the this is the stick, right? It's one piece here from this part, the top down, and then the knops is the top part, right? We're gonna get into knops, but that's what the knops on top is, man, right? And they was probably gonna be a bigger menorah than this because we had to have oil in this. This is typically made for candles, but we would have oil in something like this. This would not hold oil at all. I've tried it, had it dirty plenty of times trying to get oil to hold in here, and it was not worth my time. But as we see on the stick, right, the solar stick here, we got 3 coming off the sides, not 9, and not 4 off the sides, making it a 9-branch menorah, which is a folly. I actually last time I went into this, I got this, so I might as well get it, cause this is what I have as well. I got the what they would call the Jewish menorah, right? And if you look real close at that, man, right? I do wear this. It ain't like I'm gonna deny that I don't wear this. I wear it a little bit every now and then. So we see on the stick coming up, we got 4 on each side on this little thing, man. As opposed to this one, I'm gonna hold this one back for so comparative in sizes, so we can see the comparison, right? I'm trying to make them both the same size, but yeah, man, this is different. So this got 9, this got 7. This is biblical here, biblical, non-biblical, right? And we not gonna deny that. I mean, it's just a chain. It ain't even like I'm worshiping these things or anything like that. It's just a chain. So it is what it is, man. The Jews, they didn't take everything and changed it. So let's continue on. Verse 17, and he made a candlestick of pure gold, pure work, and he made the candlesticks his shaft and his branches bowls and his knobs. So this is up top is the knobs. You feel what I'm saying? That's the knobs. And let's actually just get that really quick, the knobs, to explain what the knobs is, man. Right? Knobs. Or the bowls, actually, it might be. Where do we see knobs? Yeah, let's see. Knob, lintel, bulb, knob, capital of a pillar, knob, bulb as ornament, capital. So this is just like the top part of it, right? From what I would think. I may be wrong, right? But continuing on, verse 19, 3 bowls made after the fashion of almonds and 1 branch. So this is the bowl here. That's like kind of like almonds. You see what I mean? So it ain't, but it is, man. And it says, and 1 branch, a knob, and a flower, right? Some people might say that the flower is representative of the lily. That sometimes that is. Some people don't believe that's the lily. That's why I typically stay away from that, because I don't really rock it, you know what I mean? This is a rarity, but I do rock it every so often, right? But it says in the candlesticks were the 4 bowls made like almond, his knops and his flowers, right? And a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under the 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, right? That's boom, 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 according to the 6 branches going out of it, right? Their knops and their branches were of the same. All of it was one beaten work of pure gold. Let's get this off the screen. What's going on? And he made his 7 lamps and his snuffers and his snuff dishes of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold made he it, and the vessels thereof. Right. So this going into Exodus 31 verse 5. Where is this about? Right. Let's see what we got here. Right. Altar. Right. Okay, so and he made an incense of altar of shittim wood. The length of it was a cubit, and the breadth of it was a cubit. It was 4 square Salakia, let me slow down and actually read. And 2 cubits was the height of it. The horns thereof were of the same. And he overlaid it with pure gold, both the top of it and the sides thereof round about. And the horns of it also he made unto it a crown of gold round about. And he made 2 rings of gold for it under the crown thereof, by the 2 corners of it, upon the 2 sides thereof, to be places for the staves to bear it withal. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the holy anointing oil, and the pure incense of sweet spices, according to the work of the apothecary. Right? Apothecary. That's we're just gonna go into that. Right? You have certain things that's apothecaries that's wicked, and certain apothecaries that's righteous. So you gotta make sure that this is a mixture of compounds, but apothecaries usually have a what is it? A relation or a correlation to witches, but that's not the case for this, right? If I'm not mistaken, I might be just mistaken on the words, but if I'm not mistaken, that is the case. People usually, frequently, will use apothecaries to mix potions and things of that nature. So it's a righteous way to do it, and it's a wicked way to do it. And this I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent just for a little bit, right? Because this goes into my idea of what was it, Exodus 22:10, if I'm not mistaken. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. It might be verse 18, or it might not even be in Exodus 22. But that verse actually goes into magic. That word for magic is actually, or magician is actually Mekashef, right? Mekashef in the Hebrew, and that word means magician. So it says in the Hebrew, thou shalt not suffer a Mekashefa, or a sorcery, or a magicianess, right, to live. You can't, they should die, right? So they gotta die. And then that was something that I wanted to, I'm going to go into eventually, about touching on like card tricks and sleight of hands and all that stuff, and how it's actually, according to the Bible, you will have to suffer the fate of the judgment of being Makashifa. Even though you have things in the Bible that explain what kind of sorcery you shouldn't be doing, it also says that you should not suffer a sorcerer to live, and the Lord not dealing with guile. So as opposed, for me, it's in my heart to just touch base on that, because a lot of people will entertain that type of stuff, and we shouldn't be entertaining that as Hebrews. So yeah, that's that. I only went on a tangent about that because it goes into that apothecary thing, right? I'm not certain that it's used for like making potions and things like that, but I'm almost positive that, because what I see is on video games. That would probably be the first time that I saw the word apothecary, was through a video game, and you'll put your stuff in the apothecary to make your potions, man, right? Which is off. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the way that you're not supposed to use it, right? But with magicians and sorceries and all that stuff, man, it's no differentiation of, you could do it this way, but you can't do it that way. You know what I'm saying? So we got to just make sure that we not adding or taking away from the law, right? So this is Exodus 38. It says, and he made an altar of burnt Salakia. And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, and 3 cubits the height thereof. And he made the horns thereof on 4 corners of it, and the horns thereof were of the same. And he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots, and the shovels, and the basins, and the flesh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass. And he made for the altar a brassen grate of network under the compass thereof, beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the gate of brass, to be places for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid it with brass. Right, and he put the staves into the rings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards, right? And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it brass, and the looking glasses of the woman assembling, right? So I get which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, right? Um, it's just reiterating what Exodus 28:27 is saying, man. Because this is 8 verses, and then it's probably going to go to verse 19 or 20. See, it's pretty much the same thing that Exodus 27 is saying. So verse 9, we're going to still read it, so it don't matter. It says, and he made the court on the south side southward. The hangings of the court were made of fine twined linen and 100 cubits. The pillars were 20, and their brass and sockets 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver, right? And for the north side the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. The hooks of the pillars and the fillets of silver. And for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, 10. Their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. Right, and for the east were 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate were 50 cubits, and the pillars 3, and their pillars 3, and their socket 3. Right. And for the other side of the court, on this hand and on that hand, were the hangings of 15 cubits. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3, and all the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen. Right, and the sockets of the pillar were of brass, and the hooks of the pillars were of, and the fillets of silver, and the overlaying of the chapiters of silver. Right, and all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver. Filleted. I'm not sure. It's either one of those two words. If I'm misspeaking, pardon me, man. Excuse me, my ignorance. But continuing on, in the hanging for the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, and the 20 cubits was the length, and the height and the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hanging of the court. Right, and the pillars were 4, and their pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4, their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters were and their fillets of silver. Right, and all the pins of the tabernacle and of the court round about were of brass. Right, and the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimony, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Right. The heck? Oh, why would it be giving me some about El Sadiq? What the heck? I don't even know nothing about El Sadiq. This thing be giving me random ass videos that I do not even care about. Continuing on, right, checking on a brother, trying to see if everything good. Continuing on, Exodus 38 and 21, it says the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacles of testimonies, it was counted. Oh no, I got that verse. Verse 22, it says, and Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Ur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that Yahweh commanded Moses, and with him Aholiab, the son of Ahishamach, right, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a cunning workman, and an embroiderer in blue and in purple and in scarlet and in fine linen. So he was a cunning man with the engraving and works, man, right? And then we could see this type of thing happen when Solomon had the temple built. We had people of cunning artificers, or not cunning artificers, but cunning art workmen, do the lily works and all this other stuff onto the temple. So this is things that was happening even after here, man, and it had to happen for things to be built that way. So verse 24 says, and all the gold that was occupied for the work and all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents and 1,703 score, 15 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. A Becca for every man. What's Becca? We're gonna just get it. bakai, right? Bakwai, right? Let's see what that is. Half a shekel. Easy enough once you look at it, look it up, right? So a bekwai for every man, that is half a shekel, and it explains itself there. But we just need to get this stuff taken care of once we see things like that. Right after the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone that went to be numbered from 10 years old and upward, 600,000 and 3,550 men. And of the shackles of the talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the sockets of the veil, and 100 sockets of the 100 talents, a talent for a socket. And the 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the pillars and overlaid their chapiters and filleted them. Right, and the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And therewith he made the socket to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brassen altar, and the brassen gate for it, and all the vessels of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacles, and all the pins of the court round about. Okay, so Exodus 39, and reiterating the priestly garments, man. This is just the things that had to be done for the Lord's temple work, man. It was things in which the Lord wanted the temple to be operated under, and then the Lord gave it to Moses to give it to the children, technically the children of Levi, but the children of Israel had to partake in building the temple and giving willful offerings, or free will offerings, or even offerings that aren't willful, that are demanded in a sense, man. But Exodus 39, verse 1, and it says, and of the blue and the purple and scarlet they made cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as Yahweh commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold, blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And they beat the gold into thin plates and cut it into wires to work in the blue, and in the purple, and in the scarlet, and in the fine linen with cunning work. They made shoulder pieces for it to couple it together, and by the two edges was it coupled together, right? And the curious girdle of his ephod that was upon him, right, was of the same, right, according to the work thereof, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and of fine twined linen, as Yahweh commanded Moses. And the work they wrought onyx stones enclosed in the arches of gold, graven as signets are graven with the names of the children of Israel. So I've showed this before. I'm not going to go back into that again, but we know how this is done, man. If you go back to it might be my Exodus, what I was breaking it down 6 videos per part. So if it's 6 videos per part, we on 37 to start this one. That's about 3 parts ago. So go back to Torah series part 15, and it should be in there. Yahweh man. Actually, let's get a clean answer. I'm not gonna mislead the people, right? I want you to see exactly where it's at. I see it should be labeled too, because ever since I started Exodus with the Torah series, it should be labeled. So I see Torah series part 15. So it's actually the Torah series part 16. Good thing I didn't just run with it, and there we go, the tabernacle and the priesthood. That's exactly what it is. So actually, Torah series part 16 goes into detail regarding this, right? So we got these here in verse 6. So now verse 7, and he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, and they should be stones for the memorial to the children of Israel, as Yahweh commanded Moses. And he made the breastplate of cunning work, like the work of an ephod, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. It was 4 square. They made the breastplate double. A span was the length thereof. A span was the breadth. A span the breadth thereof being doubled, right? And they set it in rows of stones. First row was a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This was the first row. The second row, an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row, an agate, an amethyst, right? And then it says the first row, a beryl, an onyx, right? So that's not to be confused with the engravings on the onyx stone here, man, and the ouches of gold. That's actually talking about these these talking about all these stones here, man, right? And the jasper, they were enclosing the ouches of gold in their enclosings, man. So that's going into this with about the ouches of gold, the onyx. So don't just think it was just onyx for the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And we could see here in verse 14, and the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, every one with his name, according to the 12 tribes, man. Right? So I believe that this was going to be, well, it was according to the children of Israel as they were born, but this would have been going from right to left, with the children of Israel listed right to left, not left to right like we would see in America. So if you want to just go with that, man, it's fine, but I believe it was right to left, like we would write everything from right to left. And if it's looking like I'm going left to right on the screen, that's because it's opposite of what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's simple knowledge that we wrote that way. So it wouldn't be uncommon for it to be that way as we etching it in stone and going along the line. You feel what I'm saying? It only makes sense. And they made upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wreathen work of pure gold, right? And then it says, and they made 2 ouches of gold, 2 gold rings, and they put 2 rings in the 2 ends of the breastplate, and they put the 2 wreathen chains of gold and the 2 rings on the end of the breastplate, right? And the 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains, they passed it in the 2 ouches and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And they made 2 gold rings of gold and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate upon the border of it, which was on the side of the ephod inward, right? And they made the 2 other gold rings, right, and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath toward the fore part of it, over against the other coupling thereof above the curious girdle of the ephod, right? And they did bind the breastplate by his rings unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it might be above the curious girdle of the ephod, that the breastplate might not be loose from the ephod, as Yahweh commanded Moses. This actually kind of funny, because earlier today I shared a post about going to my jeweler, and so I'm gonna just share it right on the screen here. Let's go here. Let's make my screen a little bit bigger, right? So I'm gonna just try and get this Amari chain to show you. You can't see it right there. I'm just trying to show you this ephod he got, right? So I don't know, it's very hard to see with a phone and a camera, but in that ephod, man, if you got me on Facebook, it's on Gadget Micah Shop on Facebook, man. The first video on my page, man. But it's a glare on this thing, man. I can't really get the glare to go away, but you could kind of see it, man. There you go. You can kind of see it. He got the ephod in the menorah there, man. That's a fire chain, man. And I was just joking about I gotta go talk to my jeweler to get that done, man. But that's what this is ultimately talking about, is the ephod and how it was made into the priestly garments, man. So I believe I got verse 21 right. And he made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all of blue, right? And there was an hole in the midst of the robe, and the hole of an habergeon, right, with a band round about the hole, that it should not rend, right? And they made upon the hems of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and twined linen. And they made the bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates upon the hem of the robe, around about between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate, round about the hem of the robe to minister in, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Right, so this is talking about fringes on the hem of the garment, man. This ain't talking about nothing crazy. It's talking about fringes in a certain style, but it's for the priests. It's not for the children of Israel, man. So this was not meant for everybody. It was meant for the priests, man. So if you want to go and try and emulate or imitate this thing, man, you got to be careful, man, because the Lord wasn't dealing with everybody with this, man. It was for the children of Moses, man, or not the children of Moses, the children of Aaron, more specifically, right? And they made coats of fine linen of woven work for Aaron and for his sons, right? They did it for Aaron and his sons, right? And of the mitri of fine linen, a goodly bonnets of fine linen, a linen breeches of fine twined linen, right? And this is what a lot of people will use for the men having breeches, and that ain't the precept that they use, but they use something about the breeches for saying that pants is made for men, which is, you can see, they was done for the sons of Aaron, man. And of the girdle, fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet of needlework, as Yahweh commanded Moses. They made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote upon it a writing like the engravings of a signet, holiness to Yahweh. Right? Let's get that in Hebrew. Right, I just want to see what it is. So holiness is Kodash, and that's La Yahweh. Kodash and La usually means two or four. You know what I mean? So Kodash La Yahweh, holiness to Yahweh. You know what I mean? Where was that just at? Kodash. So that verse 30. And they tied it unto a lace of blue and fastened it on high upon the mitri, right, as Yahweh commanded Moses, right? Verse 32. We're almost out of here, right? It says, thus was all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation finished, and the children of Israel did according to all that Yahweh commanded Moses, so did they. So like I said, the children of Israel and of course all the children of Israel worked on this, man. It wasn't just a Levite thing to work on the tabernacle, you feel what I'm saying? And they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent, and all his furniture, his statues, his boards, his bars, and his pillars, and his sockets, right? And the covering of ram skin dyed red, and the covering of bad skins, right? And the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony, or the ark of the covenant. Let's actually get that testimony here, man. That's Idawath, right? And let's see, testimony, witness. So ark of the witness, or the ark of the testimony, right? Which most people will call the ark of the covenant, right? The table and all the vessels thereof, and that's why I looked it up to see if it was actually the covenant in there, but it's not. That's not the word for covenant, right? And the showbread, Salakia. The pure candlestick with the lamps thereof, even the lamps to be set in order, all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light, and the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the tabernacle door, and the brazen altar, and his grate of brass, his staves, and all his vessels, the laver in his foot, right? It says the hangings of the court. Salakia, I'm just looking for something. The hangings of the court, his pillars and his sockets, and the hangings for the court, his cords and his pins, and all the vessels of the service of the tabernacle for the tent of the congregation, the cloths of service to do service in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest and his sons' garments to minister in the priest's office. That's reiterating what I said, right? According to all that Yahweh commanded Moses, right? The children of Israel made all the work. And Moses did look upon all the work, and behold, they had done it as Yahweh commanded, even so had they done it, and Moses blessed them. I just want to see how many we got. Dang, it was only 4 parts. Dang, yeah, I've been slacking with this Torah series because I had 4 parts for Exodus, and this was given. I did this in what was this, March? I sent this to myself March 21st, man, right, which was a Friday. So I mean, I missed a couple, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. It took me 9 weeks to get through Exodus, man. Y'all gotta bear with me, man. I do a lot of videos, and I got to a point where I didn't want to do the Torah series no more. But the Spirit got to me where I'm finishing it out, man. I'm actually going to continue the Torah series because I got on a structured basis of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if I miss a Friday, it's going to be that Saturday morning or Sunday morning at the latest. That's why I did it that way, because it gives me space for a leeway, man. But yeah, I'm not gonna try and miss it. Even though in some weeks I'm gonna do the chapter breakdowns for those Fridays, I'm more so leaning towards doing this Torah series, man. Was it $40? Right, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Leviticus is next. So hopefully Yahweh next week we'll be in Leviticus, man. And I will go into Chat GPT, figure out the proper breakdown of not the proper breakdown, but the proper layout for how I should do it. Like I did it with this for the Torah series. I did on Chat GPT. I asked it give me a title and break it into even sections, so I could do it with an even amount of time, and it's not one overweighing another. You know what I mean? And this is going to be the shortest one because it's only four chapters, and it's usually a 6th chapter. So yeah, we getting to the end of it, but I'm gonna do the same thing, organize it through ChatGPT so I could get it done, and hopefully I could get it done in a decent order, man. So this is Exodus 40:1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month thou shalt set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with the veil, right? And thou shalt bring in the table and set in order the things that are to be set upon or in order upon it, right? And thou shalt bring in the candlestick and the lamps thereof, right? And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door to the tabernacle, and thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offering Salakia before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shalt put water therein. Thou shalt set up a court round about, and hang up the hanging at the court gate, right? And it says, and thou shalt make the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and all that is therein, and shall hallow it and all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. The anointing oil ain't made for us to be making either, right? It's for the Levites. It's for certain people to be doing, not for everybody, man. Don't do this, man. Right, and it says, and thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar, and it shall be an altar most holy. And thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot, and sanctify it. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. So this is pretty much a purification process. And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt bring his sons, and clothe them with coats, and thou shalt anoint them as thou didst anoint their father, right? That they may minister unto me in the priest's office, for their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. So this was supposed to, this is still going on, man. The priest is supposed to be Levites. This is what it's supposed to be, right? It ain't, technically speaking, didn't change, right? Even with Yahweh Shai is the high priest, but the Levites still make up the priesthood, man, right? We can't get around that. Right, it's not a change in anything really, because Christ is that high priest, right? The Levites, technically speaking, we don't have the ability to go to a Levite and give sacrifices and to do the work for the Lord, because not too many Levites are without blemish, without spot. You know what I mean? But if we had a tabernacle or an altar in the Holy Land and that Levites were operating in, man, we would most likely be still sacrificing, man. It's no way around it, right? But we don't have that ability right now. So continuing on, right? And thou shalt anoint them. And if you want to get that ideology, look in the New Testament. Yahweh told people to sacrifice and do according to the law of Moses. They actually sacrifice in the Acts, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm almost certain of it. And it's just didn't fade away until the temple went away. You feel what I'm saying? So we can't go around and act like it was supposed to stop after Christ hit the scene. It was supposed to continue on until the desolation and abomination are as prophesied in Daniel the prophet, man. Right? Yeah, that's that. We got that. Thus did Moses according to all that Yahweh commanded him, so did he. So Moses anointed them, right? And it came to pass in the first month in the second year on the first day of the month that the tabernacle was reared up, right? And it says, and Moses reared up the tabernacle and fastened its sockets and set the boards thereof and put in the bars thereof and reared up its pillars, and he spread abroad the tent over the tabernacle, and he put the covering of the tent above it as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he took and put the testimony into the ark and set the staves on the ark, and put the mercy seat upon the ark, right? I think I may have to do another video too, not today of course, but another video pertaining to the tabernacle and the temple, because I do often say that the tabernacle pretty much evolved or turned into the temple, but we want to prove that. So I'm not going to keep on making those assertions or saying things like that until I get a video out of here, man, because it does need to be broken down. I don't need to be saying things without going into it, so we're going to actually go into that before I keep on asserting things into this text without explaining myself. So we're going to do that, make sure that that's most likely going to be, I got lessons written down, and honestly that's probably going to be third in line in my written lessons. Hip wise, I'll be shooting from the hip a lot, and I'll be bringing up lessons off the hip that I'll be putting in my Tuesdays and Thursdays, but typically if it's off the hip, it's probably going to be getting in that Monday and Wednesday slot too. So when I get around to it, I will get around to it, but I'm writing it down so I don't neglect this lesson. If it's in the notes, it's going to get covered. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I got 3 lessons in here, man, but I had the first lesson in here for about 2 weeks now, because it was the light, and I think this was when I had a falling out with a brother, man, so that might be 3 weeks going on now, man. It just, I keep on giving lessons though, so it ain't like I'm neglecting these, right? It's just, these is just topics for when I don't have something in mind that I want to cover. I really want to cover that tabernacle and temple breakdown though, so I may push that ahead of the other 2, you know what I mean? I've done that in the past where I had 2 lessons down and I pushed one above the other one because I wanted to cover the one before the other. So it is what it is, right? But that's over, right? Verse 20, it says, and he took and put the testimony into the ark, and set the staves on the ark, right, and put the mercy seat upon the ark. So he put the tablets pretty much in the ark, right, and he brought the ark into the tabernacle and set up the veil of the covering and covered the ark on of the testimony as Yahweh commanded Moses, right? And he pulled the table and the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward without the veil, and he set the bread in order upon it before Yahweh as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle software, and he lighted the lamps thereof before Yahweh as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he put the golden altar in the tent of the congregation before the veil, and he burnt sweet incense thereon, right, as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle, right, and he put the altar of burnt offerings by the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and he offered upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put water there, and wash with all, right, and Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, right? And it says, and they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he reared up the court around about the tabernacle and the altar, and set the hanging of the court gates, Lachias. So Moses finished the work, right? And it says, then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of Yahweh filled the tabernacle, right? So this is the cloud again, man, right? Yahushai, of course, man. The cloud is typically going to be Yahushai, man. That's the glory of the Most High, man, right? He sent Yahushai as that, man, right? The cloud is typically going to be Yahushai, right? It's not, even though it's Yahushai and Yahweh aren't equal, he sent Yahushai to be that, man. You know what I mean? And I did a video concerning this, man. It was probably like maybe 2 months ago, man. Going to it, Yahushai is the angel of the Lord. That's a video that I did. Go into that one, man. Watch it. I got too many videos where I touch base on a lot of this stuff, man. And I'm just telling people in these Torah series, man, go back to this video. Go back to that video. Go to this video. And now when I say the Tabernacle, I'm going to be like, look, here the video. This is the video. It just build up like that, man. The spirit call for what it is, man. Right? Just like if I need a breakdown on something, I'm going to a video on YouTube and I'm going to get edification, man. Most likely it's going to either be knock it or not. I don't care. It's either going to be GMS or it's going to be Genesis or Sakari. Those are the three camps I'm going to listen to, man. Or a branch off when now with Sakari falling and crumbling, it's going to be a branch off of Sakari, GMS or Genesis, man. Right? It's going to be a GMS. Typically, that's the one I'm typing in first. And then if I can't find a video through them brothers, then which is rare. That's why I'm always going to them. But if I can't find a video with them, then I'm going with who I know that's going to have it right behind them, man. Because Genesis and Sakari, they cover just as much, if not more, than the brothers in GMS. But GMS, they got a mandate like none other. You got to do 3 videos a week, and you got to make sure that you uploading videos every week and everything like that, man. It's strict over there, man. That's why I follow after their orders, man. Right? That mandate right there is one that I follow. The whole Facebook thing and no social media or no Facebook is not one that I follow. But that's one thing that I will say. I like they doctrine for the most part, and that's what I lean to the most. But I don't subscribe to GMS. I don't subscribe to Genesis. Don't subscribe to any camp. I get the script. I get the spirit from the Lord. And if I need help from an elder or a teacher, I'm gonna go to people who got similar doctrines. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is, man. I don't believe everything that they saying, because if it contradicts my beliefs, I'm gonna go in the scripture and I'm gonna prove it. You feel what I'm saying? It's not just taking their words. It's listening to wise doctrine, and then deciphering what's in it is edible and what's not, man. Sometimes not everybody got it, man, and I don't always have it. You know what I mean? Some people might not like how I break it down too, man. So it's just a matter of how you like it, how you want to hear it. You feel what I'm saying? But this is we got Exodus 40 verse 36, and when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys, right? But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up, for the cloud of Yahweh was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, and the sight of all the house of Israel throughout their journeys. So that's the ending of Exodus, the conclusion of Exodus. Next, we're gonna head into Leviticus. I think it's 42 chapters in Leviticus. With Leviticus being a little bit longer, than Exodus. Right, that was just 40 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually see, it's 27 chapters, so it's not that long. I could probably get this done in 28, so I could probably do 7, 14, 21. I could do it in 4 sittings, man. Another four part breakup of it. But I'm looking forward to this, man. I've actually already done a Leviticus 11 breakdown on my Facebook. I may recycle that video and call it doctrine, man. It ain't no way around Leviticus 11. Leviticus 11 stays the same, man. You can't really mess up a Leviticus 11, right? Leviticus 11 is the easiest breakdown to do, man. Right? Leviticus 11 is only so easy because it tell you what you can and cannot eat, right? It tell you after their kind, and people like to say, oh, this got this and this and got and this and that, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, you can't get around it, right? So maybe I will even rip the video off of my Facebook and just upload it to this channel once I'm done, maybe. But yeah, that's gonna come soon. You should be expecting to see a Leviticus 11 breakdown separate from the Torah series, man. I might skip over Leviticus 11 entirely because I've already touched base on that chapter, and I might have done it twice already, right? It's just to cover my like even with like Esau, so on and so forth. We didn't go into these things; we just glazed through it. So it's just gonna be how it is. I may upload the Leviticus 11 breakdown on a Friday, and then that'll be my video. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I got it covered. So why go back into it? Some things I have covered, but I went back into it for edification purposes. You know what I mean? But yeah, we can't get around this stuff, man. So with that, I want to say shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Barakatah, EGA till we see today. Kwame Shalom.